The storm came faster than anyone expected. The sky had turned an eerie gray by mid-afternoon, casting long shadows across the hills and whispering secrets through the trees. Clouds rolled in like an army, thick and urgent, and the air grew heavy with the smell of rain and coming change. Emma stood at the kitchen window, watching the first drops fall. The wind whipped through the trees, rattling the windows and bending branches like they were bowing to something stronger. It felt like a warning. It felt like her heart. Restless, unsettled, on the verge of breaking. She'd spent the last 2 weeks helping at the retreat center, sharing quiet meals with Margaret, walking the trails with Luke and reading her mother's Bible late at night. Something had begun to shift inside her, slowly, gently, like a locked door creaking open. She wasn't the same woman who'd walked into Crosshill, but she wasn't sure who she was becoming either. And part of her wanted to run. Luke arrived just before the worst of the storm hit, knocking lightly before letting himself onto the porch. "You okay?" he asked. Emma nodded, though she didn't feel okay. "I figured you might need candles," he said, holding up a small box. "Power goes out here whenever the wind sneezes." She tried to smile. "Thanks. That's thoughtful." He stepped inside, shaking rain from his jacket. "You look like your head's full." Emma folded her arms. "Is it that obvious?" He gave a soft chuckle. "Only to someone who knows the look." They stood in silence for a beat, the wind howling outside like a beast trying to get in. "I don't know what I'm doing," Emma said finally, her voice thin. "This whole process, it's like I'm unraveling." Luke leaned against the counter. "Sometimes you have to come undone before you can be remade." Emma turned to him, eyes sharp. "Why does it have to hurt so much?" He met her gaze. "Because we're letting go of things we've clung to for years. Lies, fears, control. It's not easy to open your hands after holding on so tightly." Tears burned behind her eyes. "I'm scared." Luke stepped closer. "That's okay. I don't want to get hurt again," she whispered. "Not by people, not by God." He was quiet for a long moment. Then he said, "God didn't hurt you, Emma. Life did. People did. He's the one who wants to heal that hurt. But you have to let him." Emma looked away. "What if I don't know how?" Luke's voice was barely above a whisper. "Then just start with being honest. He can handle your pain, your anger. All of it." A tear slid down her cheek. She wiped it away quickly. "I don't cry." Luke gave her a soft smile. "You do now." Thunder cracked overhead, shaking the windows. The lights flickered, then died. Darkness fell like a curtain. Emma jumped slightly, instinctively reaching for Luke's arm. He steadied her with a gentle hand on her shoulder. "Come on," he said. "Let's light those candles." They sat at the kitchen table, the flickering candlelight casting golden halos across the walls. Outside, rain battered the world. Inside, it was warm, still, sacred. Emma stared at the flame. "I used to be someone else, you know. Someone full of hope, joy, faith." Luke watched her. "What happened?" She took a shaky breath. "My mom died when I was 21, cancer, fast and brutal. I prayed every night for God to heal her, begged him, and when she died, something in me broke." "I'm sorry," Luke said softly. "Then I got engaged 2 years later," she continued. "I thought it was love. He left me 2 weeks before the wedding, said I was too much, too emotional, too focused, too broken." Her voice cracked. "So I stopped needing people. I stopped believing anyone was coming to save me, including God." Luke leaned forward. "Emma, listen to me. God didn't abandon you. He never left you. Even when you stopped believing, He didn't stop loving you." She looked at him, pain flashing in her eyes. "Then why did it all fall apart?" Luke's voice was low and steady. "Sometimes God allows the breaking, because He knows what He's building is better. He didn't take your mother. He welcomed her, and He's been trying to hold you ever since." Emma couldn't hold the tears back anymore. They came fast, hard, years of pain spilling out in trembling sobs. Luke didn't move, didn't speak. He simply sat with her, the way someone who truly knew suffering would. And in that moment, Emma realized something. This was what grace looked like. Not lightning bolts or miracles, but a quiet presence in the middle of the storm. Hours passed before the rain began to fade. The wind died down, the world held its breath, and the silence that followed was deep, holy. Luke stood stretching. "I should head back. Roads will be muddy." Emma stood with him, brushing her hands on her jeans. "Luke," she said quietly, "thank you." He turned to her. "For what?" For not trying to fix me, he smiled. That's not my job. It's his. He stepped toward the door, then paused. I'm praying for you, Emma. She nodded, her throat tight. I think I'm starting to pray too. He grinned. Good. Keep going. He stepped out into the wet night, his figure disappearing into the darkness. Emma closed the door and leaned against it, heart full and raw. Something had shifted. Not everything, but enough. She turned to the table, the candle still burning low. She whispered, God, I'm still scared, but I want to trust you. And for the first time, the silence felt like peace, surrender. The sun broke through the clouds the next morning like a quiet hallelujah. Golden light spilled across the cottage floor as Emma stood by the window, hands wrapped around a warm mug, staring out at the drenched trees glistening with new life. Birds sang. The air smelled of rain and promise. Something had changed. Inside her, the storm had broken more than the silence. It had broken her pride, and somewhere in the breaking, God had stepped in. She'd always thought surrender meant weakness, giving up, letting go of control, but now it felt like something else entirely, a release, a relief. She still didn't have answers, but for the first time she didn't feel like she needed them. What she needed was him. At Margaret's invitation, Emma agreed to attend the small Sunday morning service held in the chapel. She hadn't set foot in a church for over a decade, not since her mother's funeral, where the hymns felt hollow and the prayers felt like betrayal. But this was different. The chapel was simple. Wooden pews, soft light pouring through the stained glass, and a faint smell of candles and cedar. People gathered slowly, exchanging warm greetings and lingering hugs. There was no show, no performance, just community, just presence. Luke was already there, sitting near the back. When he saw Emma, he smiled, not with surprise, but as if he'd been expecting her. She slid into the pew beside him, nervous and unsure. You came, he said softly. She nodded. I didn't want to, but I did. Luke gave a quiet chuckle. Sounds about right. Pastor James, a kind-faced man with silver hair and eyes that looked like they'd seen both deep sorrow and deep joy, stepped to the front. He opened his Bible, and his voice was steady as he spoke. Today's message is simple. God is not waiting for you to clean yourself up before he loves you. He's not waiting for you to get it right or prove your worth. He already loves you, right now, as you are. But his love won't leave you as you are. His love changes everything. Emma felt the words land like seeds in soil that had finally been tilled. She didn't understand everything, but her heart did. After the service, Emma lingered in the chapel long after the others had left. She knelt in a back pew, her hands gripping the edge like a lifeline. The sunlight caught the stained glass above her, casting a cascade of colors across the floor. She bowed her head, eyes brimming. God, I don't have fancy words, she whispered. I don't know all the right things to say, but I believe you're here, and I believe you love me, even though I don't deserve it. Her voice broke. I've spent so many years trying to fix myself, trying to be strong, and I'm tired. I can't carry this anymore. The pain, the fear, the guilt. I surrender. I give you everything. Her shoulders shook with the weight of the moment. A lifetime of shame, bitterness, control, laid down. There was no choir, no thunderclap, no voice from heaven, just a gentle warmth that wrapped around her soul like a blanket. Peace, real, undeniable peace. And for the first time in her adult life, Emma felt free. Later that afternoon, she found Luke in his workshop. He looked up as she entered, wiping sawdust from his hands. Hey, Emma smiled. A real one. Soft. Unforced. Hey, she said. He studied her face, eyes narrowing with gentle curiosity. You look different. She stepped forward, hands in her jacket pockets. I think I am. Luke waited. I prayed today, she said quietly. For real. Not just the scared kind, but the surrender kind. His expression didn't change, but something lit in his eyes. And I gave him everything, she said. My fear, my past, my future, all of it. Luke stepped toward her slowly. That's the bravest thing you'll ever do, she nodded, emotion tightening her throat. I thought surrender would make me feel small. weak. But it doesn't. It feels like peace. Luke reached for her hand slowly, giving her space to pull away if she wanted to. She didn't. Their fingers intertwined like it was the most natural thing in the world. "I'm proud of you," he said. "Not because you believed, but because you were honest." "I think I'm starting to understand," she whispered. "God didn't want me to fix myself. He just wanted me to come." Luke nodded. "Exactly." She looked at him, heart pounding. "So what now?" He smiled gently. "Now you walk with him, one step at a time." They stood there in the quiet hum of the workshop, hand in hand. The air smelled of cedar and sawdust and something sacred. Emma took a breath. "Luke," she said softly, "I'm still scared." He stepped closer, his voice barely above a whisper. "Me too. But I think I trust God more than I trust my fear now." Luke nodded. "That's how you know you're healing." That evening, Margaret prepared a small dinner to celebrate Emma's decision. She didn't call it a conversion or a salvation party, just a simple meal with people who loved Jesus and had learned to love each other. Emma sat between Margaret and Luke, laughing more freely now, her heart no longer guarded like a fortress. During dessert, Margaret leaned in and whispered, "You know, I've never seen someone surrender so beautifully." Emma smiled. "I think I was always meant to. I just didn't know how." Margaret squeezed her hand. "Welcome home, sweetheart." Later, after the table was cleared and the candles had burned low, Emma stood outside under the stars. She looked up, the sky wide and full above her. "Thank you," she whispered, "for not giving up on me, for waiting, for chasing me down." Her heart was full, not with perfection, but with presence. And in that quiet moment under the stars, Emma knew she was no longer lost. She was found, not because of anything she had done, but because Jesus had loved her first.